Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's currently a Wednesday and I have like 4 or 5 days until I start my shred phase for my photo shoot. So you guys don't know, I've been in a build for the last 12 months and have decided to do a photo shoot in September, so in like 3 months, with the same photographer I did my first ever shoot with, QB, and I'm so fucking excited. It is officially time to cut for it and I'm so excited because 12 months of building, putting on muscle, fucking getting strong as fuck in the gym, eating lots of food. I'm so keen to see the hard work be revealed with my physique at the photo shoot. So I'm going to bring you along for the fucking ride. I'm just going to kind of take you along my weeks at the moment. Obviously dieting and like going through fat loss phases are or can be really simple, but I feel like people, and there's a lot of information out there that make it seem so much harder than it needs to be. Don't get me wrong, it's a fucking challenge. Sacrifices are necessary to be able to get to the condition I want to be in and all those sorts of things, but it doesn't have to be a miserable experience. It doesn't mean you have to say goodbye to every bit of joy in your life. It just means you kind of got to eat a little bit less food and maybe not have takeaway every second day or every weekend. But that's really all. So I'm just going to bring you along for the ride, probably show you a bit of my training, how things are looking like in that front, how my nutrition's looking like, recovery and all that sort of stuff, and just kind of show you the ins and out, because absolutely no doubt there's going to be some obstacles that come up. Like, life happens, nothing's fucking perfect. There's never a perfect time to do anything, so I'm sure some level of obstacle will pop up here and there. But I'll just kind of show you how I navigate that, if that is the case. If not, and it's like a fucking perfect prep, like, I'm not going to be mad about that. But yeah, I can't set my expectations too high where everything's going to be smooth sailing, because that is just setting me up to be disappointed for no fucking reason. So just knowing that my expectations are managed. This is something I spoke a lot about in the fat loss masterclass we had on Monday this week, where it's really important to set your expectations up before going into a phase of fat loss, of building, things like that, and really manage them from the beginning. That way you're setting yourself up for success and you are expecting what is going to come. A lot of things people do, or where a lot of people go wrong, is they set all these expectations but they're not actually willing to make their actions align with the expectations. So they say they want to lose 4 kilos in 4 weeks, but they're not willing to sacrifice takeaway every weekend. They're not willing to sacrifice the croissant with breakfast every morning. They're not willing to sacrifice a sleep in to go get their steps done, all these sorts of things. And it's not, any of that is wrong, but it's like, if that's not what you're willing to give up, you can't expect to be losing 4 kilos in 4 weeks, or whatever the outcome you want. There is going to be a level of sacrifice, and you need to make sure you understand what you are willing to do and what you're willing not to do in order to be able to curate the best plan for you to achieve the outcome that you want. Very grateful that I've been through this experience before, so I have a level of understanding of what to expect. And at this point, I've been living this sort of lifestyle for so fucking long now, and I've been very consistent with my nutrition, my training. Like, none of these things are things that I need to work on. The only thing that is changing from me transitioning from this build phase into a dieting phase is I'm literally eating less food. Like, that's really the only difference, and I might have to do more steps and potentially some cardio at some point. But that is really it. There is nothing really about my lifestyle that is changing in order for me to get this outcome, which puts me at an advantage because it's not a big adjustment. But there definitely is some times where people will have to go through these adjustments while they're doing their dieting phase, and that's okay, so long as those expectations are understood from the very beginning. I did my last photo shoot prep, I literally changed my lifestyle the entire prep. Like, it doesn't mean it's not possible, but it is a little bit more challenging. There is a little bit more of an expectation there, but all those sorts of things are something that you can kind of speak to yourself about whether or not you're willing to do that. So yeah, I'm very fucking G'd to get this done. I'm very excited just to see where things are at, like just to see what my physique looks like after 12 months of building, and I'm sure as fuck I've put some muscle on. So yeah, it's just gonna be really cool. Take you along for the ride. And
this jacket is so fucking large and charged, you wouldn't think I'm a muscle mommy underneath. Come and join me for my upper body session, second one for the week. This is like my push take. So lots of shoulders, chest. What else have we got? Some arms and push-ups, which I'm actually pretty good at, surprisingly. My TDs are strong. Starting off exercise number 1, dumbbell lateral raise. Let's fucking go, skis. Fucking look like a box in this jacket. To show you the muscle mummy. It's so fucking cold. Gotta get out the shoulder veins. I feel more like me. When I first got into the gym, and probably for about 4 years after that, I could not lateral raise more than 4 kilos. The fact that I'm doing 7.5 and I ended my last block at 8 kilos is like such a flex. Fuck. My favorite cue when doing a lateral raise, to not feel it in your fucking big daddy traps and to actually work the side of your delts, is to think about pulling the weight out and up. So rather than just like up and down, think like there's a string attached to your wrist and that's pulling it out and up towards the side, and you're trying to make your delt or the top of your forearm move away from your body as opposed to just shrugging the weight up, because that's what a lot of people say is like, oh, I always feel it in my traps, I never feel it in my delts. It's like, generally it's because you're just shrugging the weight. I would start with a lighter weight first, lateral raises. I'm not an exercise you need to be fucking pumping weights 40 kilos plus with. Start with the lighter weight, focus on that mind-muscle connection, nailing that technique, and then increase from there. This is an exercise like across the program I very rarely increase the weight with. It's more like I'm increasing the amount of reps I'm doing with it, the control I have with the weight, things like that, as opposed to let's add 1 to 2 kilos every single week on my lateral raise. And I think I have pretty good credit in this matter, because I have to say my delts look fucking epic right now. That's one thing, like shoulders and a back on a female, probably one of my favorite parts of my body besides my glutes. But like the shoulder and back development I've had in the last block, because it was upper body focus, I'm very fucking stoked to see how this looks shredded, because she's put on some muscle. I've got shoulder press with the machine. I used to fucking hate any sort of pressing movement with the machine. I just felt so awkward and like I just couldn't move. But this machine, I've grown to really love it. And especially when it comes to shoulder press as well, like doing the dumbbells, they're fucking rough. And like to progress with it, like fuck, it was like a whole ass mind game for me to actually progress with it. Whereas this, I'm like, if I fail, fuck, it's just gonna come back down. And I feel like it's easier, which kind of makes sense, to push closer to failure on a machine because you've got that external stability with it as well. So last time I did this, I got up to like 20 kilos on each side, which I was like, fuck, what's wrong, bitch? So this week I'm starting probably at the same weight I did last week. I'm just gonna go for more reps because last week it was fucking hard. So that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna do 1 more warm-up set or maybe 2 more warm-up sets just to go up to my walking weight. I've got 3 sets of 6 to 10, so I've got a bigger rep range. So I've got a bigger buffer to like progress with these. I've been trying to wear clips again more in my hair just to help not break it, because my hair is fucking, you know, when you get to the point in that like time of your like either hair wash cycle or just like hair dye cycle where you look at yourself and you're like, I just want to shake my head. That's where I'm at the moment. But I hate wearing a clip on upper body day because you can't push your head back into the seat. So got to fucking alternate with the fucking, what's it called? Scrunchie. Good fun. When I'm doing my warm-ups for these, I'm not taking it to the point where I'm like, I need to increase the weight by like 2.5 kilos to get to my working weight. It's literally like I did a warm-up with just the machine itself, with no weights on, added 10 kilos, And I'm probably just going to jump straight into my working set because I don't really need to warm this up that much. In comparison to, say, like a barber RDL, where I'm working up to sets of 90, 95, 100, I'm going to take my time warming up to that. And in saying that as well, this is my second exercise. So my lateral raises are kind of like a little bit of a warm-up anyway. My shoulders have already done some work. They're warm. I don't need as many warm-up sets for my second exercise. Whereas if this was my first and it's cold as fuck outside, I probably would have done a few more warm-up sets to get to my working weight. I decided to go 17.5. Strong. This beef with Kendrick and Drake at the moment, let me fucking tell you, they are fueling my sessions. The songs, Euphoria, like loving training to it. I need a poop. I didn't get to do my morning poop this morning. So we're in dangerous territory right now. Next up, I've got incline bench press with the dumbbells. If you were to look at my last program and compare it to this program, it's pretty much the same but different. And the thing is, when it comes to like programming to see long-term progression in your physique, even in your strength, it's very much repetition with some slight changes every now and again. So like this program, for example, it is literally like my last one. This day, I started with lateral raise. The last program I did a dumbbell shoulder press. This program I'm doing machine shoulder press. So even like going into a dieting phase, I feel like my ability to push harder on a machine press versus a dumbbell is going to be much more progressive in comparison to when I'm not dieting. Then here, last program I did a flat bench press to add in a bit of variation into my programming. I've now got an incline bench. Then I've got tricep extensions. I did an overhead last time. Now I'm just going to do a normal rope extension. Then I'm finishing with push-ups, which is a different exercise compared to what I had in the last. So if your program looks very fucking similar program to program, it's a good sign. And it means that there's actually long-term progression taken in consideration versus doing one program one way and then it's a complete 180 the next. Obviously, if your goals shift or if you're going from, maybe you've had strength goals one for like the last 6 months and now maybe you're progressing into a fat loss phase and you've got more physique outcomes. Yeah, you may see some changes, especially if you want to go from testing your 1 rep max versus lifting heavier weights for 8 to 12 reps. Obviously there's going to be some differences, but in most cases, 9 times out of 10, you shouldn't really need to be making that many changes to your program. That's exactly how I program for my clients. It's exactly how I get programmed for. Just making these slight tweaks to see ongoing progression. But in reality, you could also be staying on a program for most of the year if you were seeing continuous progression. There's no point in changing shit if it's not fucking broken. So make the most out of your program. Squeeze as much as you can out of it because that is what brings the long-term progress. That's what sees the breakthrough and plateaus. That's what sees the muscle progression, the strength progression. It's just repetition. So last week I did 15 kilos for 8 reps. I've got 8 to 12 in this block for this one. So I'm just going to do the same weight again and just go for more reps. Like after the lateral raises in this, I know my upper body is already a little bit cooked. So I'm not expecting to see some crazy progression towards the end of my exercises or towards the end of my sessions. Obviously I'm still striving for progression, but like if I'm not jumping the weights up every week here in comparison to say my shoulder press, it's to be expected because I'm already a bit more fatigued. So I'm going to be striving for progression where I can, whether that be with getting more reps in for 1 set or all set, or lifting heavier weight, whether that be in week 3 or week 4. Obviously, because I arch my bench, I get a lot of fucking front delt recruitment, and that explains why they are as jacked as they are, in my opinion. And they're fucking cooked by this point, honestly. You don't have to arch in a bench press, like, especially in like a dumbbell press. You don't have to, especially if you want to grow your chest and you want bigger pecs and you don't want to necessarily get jacked front delts. But I personally like arching. I find it more comfortable for myself, and obviously I can also lift heavier with it because it's putting me in a favorable position to move more load. Whether my coach wants me to arch or not, I do not know, but I prefer it. And like, I'm not really like trying to develop my pectorals anymore. Like, I'm pretty happy with how they look. They've definitely got like muscle under there, but I'd rather my delts look more jacked than my chest, if I'm being honest. So it is what it is. If you ever see me walking around the gym like a crazy person, just know I'm getting my steps in. That is honestly my biggest hack. If you struggle with getting in steps and maybe you don't have time before and after your session to do a walk or whatever it may be, or you just know that you need little short bursts to get enough steps in, pace the fucking gym. It's the easiest way to get in more steps. And like, you know, every little bit counts. You might say, oh, there's no fucking point, like I'm only gonna get 500. But it's 500 more than you were doing last time. So between each set, do a little lap up and down the gym. If people stare at you funny, stare at them back. Tricep extensions next. I always recommend using a long rope for these, just so that way you can get into position better. This is like the greatest fucking one. But if you don't have access to like a long rope like this, and your gym has 2 short ones, just grab 2 of them. Yeah, you might look like a bit of a dickhead in the gym stealing 2 pieces of equipment, but put 2 down like that, just so that way the rope's longer. I find when you use the short rope, you just get like stuck at this sticking point and it just doesn't feel comfortable on your shoulders or your joints and shit like that. So use a long rope if you can. If you don't, grab 2 and it feels so much fucking better. What weight did I do last week? My hands are so cold. You know when you type on your phone and just like stinging? That's what I'm experiencing right now. Last week I did 12 and a half. So, as we all know, starting my photo shoot prep on Monday, and I'm a little bit nervous because obviously, like, eating less food. I've really enjoyed eating more food for the last 12 months, but I know that the effort I've put in over the last 12 months, obviously building is a slow process. You need time to see results. Whereas in a fat loss phase, you can see results pretty quickly or quicker in comparison. Everyone is different though. Everyone's bodies responds differently. Some people respond well to putting on more weight. Some people respond well to losing weight. But yeah, I know that I'm going to see the effort and hard work I've put in over the last 12 months pretty quickly in this, or like during this fat loss phase, and that's going to kind of be a very good motivation and a really good boost of momentum to kind of keep going. I've got push-ups in my program. It reminds me of my hybrid girly days. I spoke about this on my Instagram the other week where I called myself a hybrid athlete, when in reality all I did was just train twice a day, 7 days a week, weights and then cardio for no other reason besides the fact I just wanted to be skinny. Call it what you will, but that's not a fucking hybrid athlete if you ask me. Brought back a few little memories, but nonetheless, it's cool being able to do that many push-ups at the end of a session when I'm already fatigued, I'm already tired, got a pump. And to be able to do that, like my chesticles are a little bit strong, which is really fucking cool. I think it's only fair I play push-ups by Drake. while I'm doing them. That was harder than last week. This is the program I'm going to be running for majority of my fat loss phase, and the thing is, like, to train to lose fat and to achieve that lean, defined, shredded looking physique, you need to train like you're trying to build a fuck ton of muscle, because your training is going to be what preserves the muscle mass on your body. If you just stop training weights, do a bunch of cardio to lose weight, you're going to walk out at the end of that fat loss phase looking skinny fat. If that's your goal, off you go. But if you don't want to look skinny fat and you want to see muscle definition, you want to have a lean physique, you want to look like you actually train and look like a weapon, then you need to train with the same amount of effort, intention, intensity as you would trying to build a shit ton of muscle, as well as eating adequate protein intake. And that's going to determine whether or not you look like a fucking weapon at the end of your fat loss phase or skinny fat. You decide. I feel jacked, not gonna lie. Check out the pub. Me and my partner watched too much Sam Select before bed. Look. This is pretty cool. I have no idea how to pose, but that looks pretty fucking cool. But yeah, call me Sam Select. That was a really good session. Honestly, training this week hasn't been, I wouldn't say not the best, but like sleeping hasn't been the best all week. Energy has been pretty fucking terrible, if I'm being honest. So a lot of the sessions, I've still been pushing myself, but it's very much like I just want to get them over and done with. Whereas this was a really great session. I felt really switched on for it. And just like, yeah, I just was very much in the zone, which was nice. So not every session is going to be your best session. I think that's one thing. You need to like kind of remember that like, not every session you're going to walk in wanting to be there. Not every session you're going to walk in and progress everything. Not every session you're going to enjoy. But a lot of the times those are the ones that count, because they are the ones that are giving you that proof that you can do the hard shit. You are true to who you say you're going to become or be. And your vision and your goal and the outcome you want is bigger than just how you're feeling on that day, you know? It's the process that counts towards achieving the outcome, not just achieving it or like it being a perfect fucking ride, because it's never that way. You know, like on the days where I'm not feeling 100%, I just walk in with no expectations. I'm not in there that like, fuck, I need to do this, I need to do that, or I'm going to walk in and have a shit session. It's just like, go in neutral, take what you have, you know, work at the capacity that you have available to you. And if there's something in there, if you've got enough to push, like fucking push it. Like, don't kind of give you that self-fulfilling prophecy that you're just not going to be able to try in that session. You're not going to have the energy to push. You're not going to get stronger, because you're just kind of setting yourself up to fail before you even fucking get there. That's something I always say to my clients when they walk into a session being like, oh, I'm not feeling 100%. I don't feel strong today, shit like that. It's see how you go. Get through the warm-up. Get through your warm-up sets. And then it's like, if it's there, it's there. And if it's not, cool. What can we get out of this session that's going to make it a positive one at the end? Is it refining your technique? Is it controlling your movements? Is it putting on your favorite songs and just fucking not being in your head for an hour and just having peace and quiet to yourself? You can always get something out of a session, even if it means it's not just progression, but if it's an hour to yourself, an hour of time just to switch off from work, life stress, whatever it may be, you can always take something from a session, no matter how you feel. So that's a bit of motivational chat for you at the end of this one.